Alrighty, folks, welcome to the program for Sunday, June 29th, 2025. Happy Sunday to you. Hopefully you're having a great weekend, and if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. Of course, if you want to see which one of the games on the slate here today that I actually like the best, my daily best play is just $1.99 for 30 days worth of access on my premium page. And with that, we're going to jump right into some free content. Going to start off in that Cardinals-Guardians matchup, 12:05 Eastern first pitch. St. Louis is minus $1.20, totals 8 runs. Matt Liberator for St. Louis, Logan Allen for Cleveland. Now, Allen's recorded a handful of losses on the year, currently has an ERA of 4.25. And as a team, the Guardians are currently on a 3-game skid, losers of 6 out of their last 9. And they're facing a Cardinal team on the other side who actually went 6-3 straight up in their last 9 themselves. Lineup's doing a nice job making contact with the baseball. The Redbirds really don't strike out a whole bunch, and they're actually in the top 10 in runs per game. Brendan Donovan hits .302. Contreras, 51 RBI. Cardinal games have gone 12-5 to the over against American League opponents on the road this year. Meanwhile, 3 out of the Guardians' last 5 at Progressive Field got over the total themselves. I like the Cardinals minus $1.20 over 8. A's, Yankees, 135 East. New York's minus 220, totals 9.5. Marcus Stroman for New York. Luis Severino for the A's. Now, Sevy's just 2-8 with an ERA close to 5. These A's pitchers allow more runs a game than any other staff besides one. Unfortunately for them, they're facing a dangerous lineup of sluggers in New York. The Yankees have a top 5 run-producing lineup. Aaron Judge hits .354, OPS of 1161, and Trent Grisham with 15 homers, on-base percentage in the mid-300s. And out of the Yankees' last 10 ball games against the A's, New York's averaged 6.1 runs per contest. Certainly doing a great job scoring runs in recent meetings. No real surprise, the over cashed in 60% of those gatherings I just mentioned. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. I like New York minus 1.5 over 9.5 runs. All right, next game, Mets, Padres, 135 East. New York's $1.35, totals 10. Frankie Montas for the Mets, Mike Burrows for Pittsburgh. Now, Burrows has just 1 win on the year, losing record coming into today's matchup. And at the plate, the Bucs have had all kinds of problems producing runs this year. They're in the bottom 3 in runs per contest. And they're facing a Mets pitching staff who's definitely pitched well for most of the season. The Mets are in the top 5 in fewest runs allowed. And starting pitcher Frankie Montas definitely looked good in his season debut this year. 5 innings of work, no earned runs in his last start. Of course, New York's seen nearly 60% of their road games this year stay under the total. Pittsburgh with unders in 62% of their games this year against the National League, against National League opponents. I like the Mets minus 135, under 10. Phillies, Braves, 135 East. Atlanta's $1.40, totals 9. Spencer Strider for Atlanta. Ranger Suarez for Philadelphia. Suarez is 6-2 with an ERA of 2.08. As a staff, these Phillies pitchers allow just 3.4 runs a game in their travels. They're facing an Atlanta lineup who strikes out an awful lot at Truist Park. They're in the bottom 10 in strikeouts per game at home. And out of their last 10 meetings against Philadelphia, they've definitely struggled with Philly pitching. They were held to under 3.6 runs a game during that stretch. Now, Atlanta contest went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Philadelphia with unders in 6 out of their last 7 on the road. I like the Phillies plus $1.20, under 9. Rays O's 135 East. Where is it at? Baltimore's $1.20. Totals 9. Dean Kremer for the O's. Taj Bradley for Tampa Bay. Bradley's got a handful of wins on the year. Rays are definitely hitting the ball well at the plate. Tampa Bay's in the top 5 in hits per game at the dish. Jonathan Aranda bats .330, on-base percentage in the 400s. Junior Caminero with 20 homers, 51 runs batted in. They're taking on a Baltimore pitching staff who's certainly had their issues at Camden Yards. They're allowing over 9.7 hits a game on their own diamond. And starting pitcher Dean Kremer has been no exception to that. 6-7 record on the year, ERA of .460. 3 out of the O's last 5 home games did get over the total. Rays with overs in 6 out of their last 10. I like Tampa Bay plus $1. Over 9. Blue Jays, Red Sox, 135 East. Toronto's $1.25. Totals 9. Eric Lauer for Toronto. Walker Buehler for Boston. And despite a bunch of rough outings, Buehler's recorded a handful of wins on the year. Does not have a losing record. And a big reason for that is run support. The Bo Sox have been hitting the ball well at Fenway, and they walk a bunch, and they're in the top 10 in runs per game at home. They're facing a Toronto squad who plays their worst baseball on the road, losing record when they hit first. And out of 24 contests against the AL East, the Jays have also got themselves a losing record in those divisional games. 4 out of the Blue Jays' last 5 on the road did get over the total. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Boston games went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Bo Sox plus 105, over 9. Padres, Reds, 140 East. Cincinnati's $1.30. Totals 8.5. Nick Lodolo for the Reds. Stephen Kolek for San Diego. And both pitchers with some problem areas. Kolek's just 3-3 with a whip of 1.30. Meanwhile, Lodolo on the other side, he's recorded 5 losses. Does not have a winning record. And could be a rough one for both starters. Both lineups definitely have the ability to get base runners. Since he's in the top 5 in hits per game, San Diego strikes out fewer times a game than any other roster besides 2. Gavin Sheets leads the roster in runs batted in. Fernando Tatis with the most home runs. Meanwhile, for Cincy on the other side, it's Elly De La Cruz with 18 homers, 56 ribbies. TJ Friedl with an on-base percentage in the high 300s. 7 out of the Reds' last 10 gatherings with San Diego did get over the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. I like the over 8.5. Cubs, Astros, 210 East. Houston, $1.45. Total 8.5. Framber Valdez for the Astros. Jameson Taillon for Chicago. Taillon has 7 wins on the year for Chicago, whip of 1.10. Meanwhile, Houston's Framber Valdez, 8-4 with an ERA of 2.88. These Astros pitchers currently lead the league in strikeouts per game on the mound. They're actually fanning nearly 11 hitters a game in their own building. Meanwhile, the Chicago pitchers on the other side, well, they're in the top 10 in fewest runs allowed in their travels. 3 out of the Astros' last 5 at home stayed under the total. 65% to the under in all of their interleague contests. I like the under 8.5. Rockies, Brewers, 210 Eastern Star. Milwaukee's 265, totals 9. Chad Patrick for the Brewers. German Marquez for Colorado. Marquez is just 3-9 on the year. Rockies are the worst hit-producing lineup on the road in the league. Colorado averages just 6.9 hits per 9 when they travel. And they're facing a Milwaukee pitching staff who actually throws their best in their own building. The Brewers are walking just 2.8 batters a game at home. Top 5 in strikeouts per 9 on their own field. And don't let starting pitcher Chad Patrick's record fool you. He's had some solid stuff this year. The righties punched out 85 batters, and currently has an ERA in the threes. Now, 3 out of the Rockies' last 4 road games stayed under the total, 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Brewers -1.5, under 9. Dodgers, Royals, 210 East. Kansas City's $1.20, totals 10. Chris Bubich for the Royals, Justin Robleski for Los Angeles. Now, Robles recorded only 2 losses this season, winning record 1.23 whip. This Dodger pitching staff has racked up the strikeouts. They're in the top 10 in strikeouts per 9 on the mound, and they're facing a Kansas City lineup who's been pathetic. The Royals are averaging just 3.2 runs a game this year, losers of 6 out of their last 7. Of course, Royals games went 70% to the under in their last 10. Dodgers with unders in 3 out of their last 5 on the road. Give me the Dodgers plus $1, under 10. Giants, White Sox, 210 East. San Francisco's $1.55, totals 8.5. Justin Verlander for the Giants, John Cannon for Chicago. Now, Cannon's just 2-7 with an ERA of 4.66. And even if Cannon throws well, he might not get a ton of run support. The White Sox average just 7.2 hits a game at the plate. And they're facing a San Francisco pitching staff who's been tough to hit against this season, especially away from home. The Giants allowed just 7.1 hits per game on the road, top 5 in fewest runs allowed in their travels. And even though they don't particularly pound the baseball in the box, the Giants do tend to get, their fair share of base runners. They're in the top 3 in walks per game at the plate. Flores with 55 ribbies, Chapman on base percentage of .360. I like the Giants -155. Mariners, Rangers, 235 East. Seattle's $1.25, totals 8.5. Luis Castillo for the Mariners, Jack Leiter for Texas. And both starters with their fair share of issues. For one, both pitchers have records of just 4 and 5, respectively. And on the Rangers side of things, Jack Leiter comes into today's contest with an ERA of 4.55. Now, total-wise, 7 out of the Rangers' last 10 meetings with Seattle got over the number. Meanwhile, Seattle games went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. And a big reason for that, well, it's their ability to hit the baseball. Seattle's averaging over 9.7 hits a game on the road. Cal Raleigh with a league-high 32 homers, 69 ribbies. J.P. Crawford, on-base percentage, high 300s. Meanwhile, for the Rangers on the other side, Adolis Garcia's got the most ribbies in the clubhouse. Josh Smith with an on-base percentage of .350. Give me the over 8 runs. Nationals, Angels, 405 East. The Angels are -135, totals 9.5. Jack Kokonowitz for Los Angeles, Mitchell Parker for Washington. And despite many bad starts, well, Parker's still recorded a handful of wins on the year. Nats do have a winning record in their interleague road games. And at the plate, well, the Nationals really don't strike out a whole lot. Top 10 in runs per game on the road. James Wood, 22 homers, 64 RBI. C.J. Abrams on-base percentage mid-300s. Meanwhile, the Angels on the other side, well, they just don't pitch good. More walks per 9 than any other staff. Bottom 5 in hits allowed. We could see more of that with starting pitcher Jack Kokonowitz. 3-8 record, ERA of 5.49. I like Washington plus $1.15. Marlins, D-backs, 410 East. Arizona's $1.95, totals 9. Eduardo Rodriguez for the Diamondbacks. Cal Quantrill for Miami. And the Red Hot Marlins are on a 6-game winning streak. 7.7 runs a game they average during that span. That's not overly surprising. Marlins are a top 3 hit-producing team. Kyle Stowers, 13 homers, 40 ribbies. Edwards on-base percentage mid-300s. They're going to face a 3-4 Eduardo Rodriguez, ERA of 5.40, whip of 1.58. course, as a staff, the D-backs are in the bottom 5 in runs allowed per game. Give me Miami plus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash. Next and final breakdown for the video, Twins, Tigers, 7:10 Eastern start. Detroit's 290, total 7.5. Tarek Skubal for the Tigers, Chris Paddock for Minnesota. Paddock's just 3-6 on the year. Twins with some problems at the plate. Minnesota's a bottom 10 hit-producing team, and they're going to face a Detroit pitching staff who's definitely been tough to hit against at Comerica Park. They're in the top 5 in fewest runs allowed per game. And Tarek Skubal has been a big contributor to that. Tigers are currently 9-2. Skubal's currently 9-2 with an ERA of 2.29. Now, the lefty's punched out 125 hitters and currently has a .87 whip. Now, total-wise, 8 out of the Tigers' last 13 divisional home games fell under the number. Minnesota with unders in 70% of their contests against AL Central opponents. Give me the Tigers minus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Cardinals minus 120, over 8. Yankees minus 1.5, over 9.5 runs. And if you want to see which one of the games on the slate here today that I actually like the best, my daily best play is just $1.99 for 30 days worth of access on my premium page. Give me the New York Mets minus 135, under 10. Phillies plus $1.20, under 9. Tampa Bay plus $1, over 9. Red Sox plus 105, over 9 runs. I like the over 8.5 in that Padres-Reds matchup. Under 8.5, Cubs-Astros. Brewers minus 1.5, under 9. Dodgers plus $1, under 10. Giants minus 155, getting the job done for some money line cash. Over 8, Mariners-Rangers. Nationals plus $1.15. Marlins plus 1.5. Give me the Tigers minus 1.5, under 7.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. And if you do end up deciding to get a membership on my premium page, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. That's why I tell folks, that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.